into your future.
Thank you so much, Rob. And thank you, everybody, for joining us here today and online. I feel honored to be up here and wanting to get your vote to get on the ballot for County Commission District 3. My name is Naomi Lopez, and I am a speech language pathologist, currently working in School District 11. I work in two wonderful neighborhood schools out on the west side, Holmes Middle School and Middle and Elementary School. I also am one of the founding members of the Latina Equity Foundation, where I got to meet and become good friends with the honorable and wonderful Councilwoman Avila, and I currently serve as their secretary. I decided to run for county commission because the past three or 4 years during my community advocacy work, I spoke in front of many boards, school boards, city council, county commission as well. I did participate in the redistricting meetings, and I worked with a coalition of community organizations, including Latin Equity Foundation, Citizens Project, ACLU, to ensure that the commissioners on the board listened to the voices of the marginalized communities that haven't had representation on the board. I got tired of realizing that when I was advocating for the needs of the community that I cared about, that if there was nobody sitting on that board that cared about us, cared about our needs, and cared about our plight, that my advocacy stopped there. So I decided, instead of waiting for somebody that I wanted to vote for, that I would go ahead and make the decision to run myself. I look forward to taking my professional skills as a pathologist to find the solutions to the problems that El Paso County has faced in ensuring that we get the money and the funding where we got to be. I'll talk to you more about it one-on-one. Thank you all. And
I'm going to shift gears over to County Commission District 4 now, and the current candidate for that position, Democrat candidate, I should clarify, is Dr. Deetra Duncan, who is also the current councilwoman in the city of Fountain. So, Dr. Duncan, what's your plan?
Thank you. Again, my name is Dr. Deetra Duncan, and no, I'm not an MD. I have a PhD in organizational management. I'm candidate for County Commissioner District 4. And this seat, as you've been told, has not been held by anyone other than a red seat for 53, 54 years. And I'm here to change that. This district needs a qualified candidate to run for this office. I'm here for the district, and I'm here not to just be a placeholder. I'm here to win. I have experience as a small business owner, military family. I understand the needs of small business owners. I am a qualified, experienced leader. I know the needs of the Fountain Valley. I've been elected twice, and each time in my election, my numbers have proven that the people support me. This community, having been elected twice to serve on the Fountain City Council, I have demonstrated the understanding of the issues impacting the district. The Fountain area is not just a food desert, it is a healthcare desert. In this position, I plan on taking federal dollars and moving those dollars where needed to help the community of the Fountain Valley area. I support the rights decided by Roe v. Wade in protecting a woman's body, her privacy, and her right to choose. Again, I am here to win. They want to say that this seat is impossible. I'm going to tell you that I'm possible, and I'm going to win this race.
Like I said, those have the opportunity to be some of the most significant races in this particular election in 2024 because it's now in play. It's now possible. If Dr. Duncan and Ms. Lopez have all of our support for all of that. So keep that in mind. County commissioner races are now important now. Not that they always weren't. I did have, we were going to be moving on to state house representative candidates. And Representative Vigil is not here, correct? Do you want me to have somebody else go? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to deviate a little bit there, and we're going to get started in House District 18. We have two Democrat candidates currently in House District 18, Amy Pascal and Jonathan Dooley. And I'll give the mic to Amy first, if that's all right.
Hey, everybody. My name is Amy Pascal, and I'm running for House District 18. My journey back into politics began when life took an unexpected turn 9 years ago. My husband and I were walking our dogs, and a car struck us. It was a hit and run. And so just so you know, everything came out okay. We all survived, including the dogs. Everyone asked me that. But what emerged from that life-changing event was a deep realization that our insurance systems are even more economically untenable and predatory than I had imagined. As two software engineers with permanent full-time employment who had bought all the right insurances, we still faced a series of healthcare and insurance challenges that no one should have to deal with. I came to understand why medical bankruptcy is the #1 form of bankruptcy in this country. Sorry, screwed up my tech here. As a parent of two young adults who recently graduated from college, I have seen close and upfront the struggles of young folks as they attempt to pay for college, as they face the difficulty getting employed, even with great qualifications, and facing stagnant wages. Further, people of all ages have seen the challenges of skyrocketing home and rent prices over the last several years. Bottom line, the American dream is just not accessible anymore, and that's on us. That's economics. My other issues are infrastructure and environment. As you'll see, I have trouble keeping my jibber jabber to a minimum. But anyways, these issues are why I have decided to run for the state house. My experience as a software engineer, oh boy, okay. Well, I have this document over on the table. It has a QR code. Please visit my website. I'd love to talk to all of you, and I'd be honored to earn your vote. Thank you.
And I thank you, Amy. And I already mentioned that we have another candidate in House District 18. That's Jonathan Dooley.
Hello, everybody. It's very nice to see everybody again. My name is Jonathan Dooley. I am running for Colorado House District 18. I was the former candidate for House District 21 in 2010, and I was the precinct chair and the caucus chair for all of UPass. So it's very nice to see a lot of faces that I saw 10 years ago. So in 2014, I stopped working with the Dem Party, and I devoted, because my kids got to the age that they wanted me to spend time with them. So I spent the last 10 years working with the Boy Scouts of America. I'm a Cub Master, I'm a Scout Master. My daughter was the first female Eagle Scout in Pikes Peak Council. And my son is going to be an Eagle Scout, hopefully in the next couple of months. I get his work done. But the main reason I'm here is because I live on UPass. I watched the Waldo Canyon fire get 500 yards to my front door. I was lucky. I watched my friend's house burn down. So one of the main points that I'm here for is we need anybody who comes to Colorado. What are they coming here for? Mountains. Our mountains are on fire every year. We need a comprehensive fire mitigation and fire management program, not just here, everywhere in the state. And on top of that, we need to start doing wildlife management. We need to start breaking up some of the monopolies we have in this area that are controlling access to our national forest, sort of like our ski resorts are run by giant mega corporations. We need to start having Colorado have access to a lot of these things. So that's why I'm here. It prompted me to run when I watched that fire come over the hill. I have pictures on my webpage if anybody wants to see what I saw from my yard. So thank you very much. Please come talk to me when we're out here when we're mingling.
Thank you, Mr. Dooley. So now I'm gonna have to do some scanning here to see who is here. Jeff Livingston. Jeff here? All right, we do have a Democratic candidate who is running for House District 15. His name is Jeff Livingston. And it looks like Representative Beal is like really, really excited to get on the mic. So this is, I have to point out though, that this is the person that flipped House District 16.
With time limit, or what am I supposed to have, a time
2
limit or something? 2 minutes. I can talk for 2 minutes. Hi, everyone. Representative Steph Hill. Hello, you're in my House district. Welcome to HD 16. We flipped a brand new Democratic district in the middle of El Paso County, 2022. Not the work of a moment, my friends, not the work of a moment. I ran for that seat twice. We did a lot of organizing in the years leading up to 2020 and 2022. Extensive volunteer effort, lots of small donors, lots of boots on the ground. And the message actually was pretty straightforward to a lot of people. I just said, hey, I'm kind of more of a regular person. I think our government is supposed to work for all of us. And I think that our representation in this county has been pretty deeply entrenched with one party and their very specific interests. And it doesn't seem to be looking out for the regular people who do most of the work around here and who contribute to our economy and who live, work, and play here and need better representation in our state house. And they agreed. And so here we are. So since getting elected, the things I've really prioritized is our housing and our transportation issue, getting both of those things brought up to speed, more choices, abundant housing supply, better protections for renters, so that everyone in our community can get around, be securely housed, grow a family here, live a good life, and benefit from prosperity. And I'm also doing a lot of work right now in like youth empowerment, LGBTQ rights. I have a suicide prevention bill. I just signed on to my 13th bill this session. I have a very productive legislative session ahead. And I came here to work, right? We've had a lot of people hold some of these seats in our state legislature, and they count on you not knowing who they are. They count on you not keeping up with their work or expecting much of anything from them. And so they do a really good job of keeping the seat warm. And I am not there to keep the seat warm, I'm there to get some things done. So I expect you all to hold me to account with it. I expect you to have high standards for your other folks, hold us to it. And let's go ahead and re-win this. I feel good about a re-election. I hope you all do too as well. And thank you. Thank you.
Representative Hill is the one that actually taught me and helped me understand how elected officials are just human beings. I've really appreciated getting to know her over the last couple of years. She's an amazing person from several different perspectives. I'm scanning the room here again. I just saw Jeff like walk in. So I'll give you a little bit of a time to like catch your breath too. Let's see here. Did Representative Snyder, was he able to join us? Okay. So Representative Mark Snyder, who is the current House District 18 representative, he's term limited, and he's gonna be running for Senate District 12. And I am assuming that a lot of our elected officials, I mean, the House and Senate are in session. I'm assuming that that's keeping them busy. And then also too, was Representative English able to join us? Just making sure. Okay. Representative Regina English, she is a representative of House District 17. She's also running for re-election. And she was also not able to make it here tonight. In an effort just to give Jeff a little bit of time. Okay. Remember I told you you're gonna have to like roll with me and be patient as we were figuring out like how this was gonna go tonight. Just to give Jeff a little bit of time to catch his breath, why don't we move on to the Colorado University Regent at Large, CU Regent at Large candidate. Had a chance to hear from him for the first time last night. This is Charles Johnson, or CJ, correct?
Awesome. Thank you all for allowing me to have an opportunity to come speak to you wonderful El Paso County Democrats. People ask, CJ, what is it that you do as a CU Board of Regents. And I'd love to share more about that over the course of this campaign. But I'm going to take my time to just introduce myself. Charles Johnson, again, CU Board of Regents candidate. Came to Colorado 35 years ago as a freshman from Detroit, Michigan. And I've engaged in just about every aspect of life and within the university system. I was a Black Student Alliance president in '88. I was tri-exec president over the student body up in Boulder in 1990. I even played a little quarterback on a national championship when we beat Notre Dame back in the '91 Orange Bowl. But what really has animated and motivated me to engage this race was what the University of Colorado and the CU system has afforded me over the course of my life. I come from two parents, neither of whom graduated from high school. They migrated north from the segregated South as children. They had 7 kids. We were all raised in the inner city. I was the first of 7, the only of 7 to go off to a 4-year college university and have that opportunity. I gave birth, well, I didn't, but mom gave birth to 2 incredible kids, both of whom got Ivy League educations. Michaela graduated from Yale, Peyton graduated from Columbia. And I think about CU and that system and how it stood in the gap, allowing my family to ascend from where it came from to where it is today. And I think that my story should be the rule, not the exception. Too often it's the exception, and I'm committed to making sure that people across this great state have access to that incredible university, that incredible system, all 4 campuses, CU Boulder, the Anschutz campus, UCCS right here in Colorado Springs, and of course, CU Denver. So Charles Johnson, CJ, the number 4cu.com, my website, and I look forward to engaging more over the course of the next several months. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. All right, now we're going to switch over to the last State House candidate that we have in attendance tonight. Jeff Livingston is running for House District 15, and we will give it to him and let him tell us what he's going to do for us. And excuse me. All right, so I'm just talking. I'm just make sure I don't. Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Livingston, and I'm running for Colorado State House District 15. If I may be so bold, someday I suspect that history will remember my name. I also believe that I have to earn the right for this eventuality to come to pass. Give me a moment or two, and I will tell you how I will earn a place in your memory as a vehicle for positive change in my district. First, a little about me. I grew up in a neighborhood where people who didn't look like me seemed to have a lot of agency, specifically freedom or power of choice, to be more exact. And I knew that they knew how things worked better than I did. That dynamic motivated me to understand what they knew that I didn't. The search for that knowledge showed me a great many things, but mostly that I was not alone in my fundamental lack of knowledge. I watched I watched the world become more polarized and divisive, more devoid of agency, the agency that I coveted in my youth. I realized that it is far easier to have the freedom of choice I wanted if everyone around me had that same freedom. I also realized that perhaps I could assist. This made me search for that avenue that I could assist people with, and I landed on becoming a state representative. As a state representative, I can educate, empower, and embolden the local community to take a hold of their future. Because I believe that the brightest future is written in the hopes, goals, and dreams of our children, I will overhaul the education system to not only enhance book learning, but to aid educators in teaching the application and interpretation of that information in a way that helps our future generations become critical thinkers and decisive doers so that the world as a whole has a lot harder time taking advantage of their futures. I can empower the community to take the reins of their economic success, and I can embolden my community to understand that their prosperity can come not in spite of the success of others in our community, but because of it. Since after all, a strong community is a healthy community. I believe the future of the community in the United States is in renewable energy. In order to make the future of the economy work most efficiently for everyone, I want to make District 15 as friendly a place as possible to renewables so our community has the opportunity to develop a synergy with sustainable energy that benefits us all. Since I have seen firsthand how sometimes even a few dozen votes can flip an entire district, And since the data shows that a vast number of people don't vote for various reasons, including that they believe their voice doesn't matter, I want to help people understand how much their voice counts and how much their vote matters. If I could talk to every single voter in the district, I would, and I will absolutely make that effort. Oh, time. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. This is the last day. All right, so if you're looking for a man that has all the answers, in my humble opinion, you may be looking forever. If, however, you're looking for a man who is grounded, acknowledges his flaws, learns, grows, and becomes better, not only to help himself, but far more importantly, to help those around him reach for heights that they didn't know they could achieve, I believe you have to look no further than this guy right here. Thank you all for your time, and have a great day.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. Now we're going to move over into Congressional District 5. And we have a full deck with River Gasson, Adam Gillard, Joe Reagan, Orlondo Avion, and John Edgar, who's just thrown his hat into the ring. And we are anxiously awaiting to hear about their strategies. And we're going to start this evening with River.
Hi everyone, I'm River Gasson and I'm running for Colorado's 5th Congressional District. And I'll represent you and our shared values in Congress. I've lived in Colorado my whole life, raised by hardworking middle-class parents. I've come from a long line of educators who instilled in me the importance of education and instilled in me a lifelong pursuit for knowledge. I've spent my life learning. I've earned advanced degrees in physics and energy science, and I applied that knowledge into research in the physics, space, and biomedical industries. I've worked at the NASA Glenn Research Center, the Space Foundation here in Colorado Springs, and the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs. I am also an educator. I've taught classes at UCCS on such topics such as astronomy and solar energy science, with an emphasis on promoting renewable energy. Leaders must be adaptable and willing to learn. Someone asked me once what experience I had that could be applied into legislation. And my answer is that we need someone making decisions by approaching experts, relying on empirical evidence, and decisions that are grounded in facts and data rather than ideological partisan consideration. We need scientists making the decisions. We need scientists making the decisions that impact our everyday lives. We also need women. We need a congresswoman who's going to advocate for abortion rights, especially in an election year where there will be a strong woman turnout at the polls. I also believe in empathy, care for our veterans. We need to care for our senior citizens, and we need to care for our underrepresented communities. We need empathy in politics. I believe in protecting democracy and the rights of our people. I've outraised all of my political opponents, all of my primary opponents, and I will continue to build that momentum, and I will continue to fight for our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, River. Next up, we're going to hear from our next Congressional District 5 candidate, and that is Adam Gillard.
All right. Hey, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. It is incredible to see this kind of like excitement for these races. Not just the CD5 one, but these county commissioner ones, they're all huge. So thank you all for coming out. A little bit about me, me and my wife back there, Hartini. First and foremost, I'm always a family man, so I'll always point her out. We moved up here in 2015. We came from Arizona. I was in the military at the time. I ended up doing about 20 years. Retired 2 years ago out of Peterson Space Force Base now. When we got here, it's Air Force Base, but it's a sign of age is when things start changing names on you. She knows. So we moved up here in 2015. Before that, down in Arizona, working in the nuclear industry, kind of building command and control facilities. Before that, traveling the world as a calibration technician and doing some other things with the Air Force. Before all that, where I come from is Bay City, Michigan. It is a blue collar town. It's as blue collar as you're going to get. There's, a GM factory on the river. My last 2 years of high school was a trade school because once you're done with high school, you just go to work. That's all we do. And so I did that. I went to work, and then September 11th happened, and all plans changed. All bets were off at that point. So I joined the Air Force, did my all my training, did my 20 years, had a blast, getting to travel the world and everything like that. Once we got up here, my last deployment was in 21, and that's when January 6th happened, and that's when I knew that my career was going to take another different path. Instead of continuing to serve, I decided to retire and then focus on giving back to this community and trying to drive positive change. So now I run the local progressive veterans group. So if any of you are veterans out there looking to join, come on, we're doing some great things. So, as I stand here, like, I want to make sure it's clear that, like, I am a progressive. Like, I believe that all women should have full rights to their bodies. We need to take care of the environment. We need to do all these things. So that's me. I look forward to talking to you all and get to know each other. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Adam. Next up, we're going to hear from Joe Reagan.
Thank you all for being here. Just to echo everyone's comments so far, it's great to see the excitement from the community to come out and support, the policies that we're putting forth. I'm Joe Reagan. I'm running to represent this community in Congress, and I'm doing that because, like Adam, I've really dedicated my life to service. I served in the military. There's a million good reasons why I want to run this campaign and why I want to represent you in Congress. One thing that's really important to me, a little bit about my background in the Army. I was an infantryman. I was a ground pounder, a grunt. And I don't like talking about my service. It's very difficult for me to do that. My platoon in Afghanistan had a casualty rate that exceeded 100%. That means every member of the platoon was wounded at least once. All but 2 received the Purple Heart. Several of them were wounded multiple times in the course of that deployment. So I've seen what commitment to democracy, what commitment to patriotism looks like on the ground. And what's tragic is that despite those figures, I have lost more soldiers to suicide than I did to combat. Our mental health system is broken. The way that we care for veterans, for mental health in general, is 100% broken. And there's answers. After leaving the military, I've worked in the nonprofit sector to advance veterans' healthcare, to look at initiatives on mental health, to help families, and to push that through to make sure that we're getting stuff that's taken care of. And I can bore you to tears on all of that, but I look forward to getting to meet all of you, to get to know you, and to share the views on some of those policies. But again, thank you so much for coming out and supporting this. It's really exciting. It's an exciting time to be a Democrat in El Paso County. So again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Joe. Next up, told you we had a full deck. We have a lot of CD5 candidates that are vying for that position in the primary. Next up, we've got Orlondo Avion.
So it's Orlondo Avion, and it's all O's. Can you hear me okay? All right, excellent. So, good day, my fellow Democrats. What is the biggest challenge that we're facing? I think it is true representation, and I've got 3 ideas to help us accomplish this and also to move us into the 21st century. My name is Orlondo Avion. I'm from Colorado. I was born into a military family in Sterling, Colorado. I went to S.A. Wilson, Sproul, and Whitefield High School. Go Gladiators. I remember when you could go from Constitution all the way to the Academy, no lights. I remember when you used to be able to cruise Nevada. I remember we used to go to Fargo's after all the games. Yeah. I attended the Air Force Academy. I went to CU Boulder. I graduated from UCCS. And while I was at UCCS, I became a ballroom dance instructor. And I can see me about that later. I'm married with 6 adult children, and I have been and am a small business owner. I want to further democratic principles, but what is the definition of insanity? It is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? That's why I want to install 3 solutions into our broken political system. That is ranked choice voting, multi-member districts, and proportional voting power. What does that do? That takes care of first past the poll, winner takes all, gerrymandering, and costly runoffs. We could have saved $1 million in the last 2 mayoral elections. So I'd love to talk to you more about tour representation moving forward and creating a more perfect Colorado Springs and Colorado. So thank you for listening and thank you for your vote.
All right, and last up, the last Congressional District 5 candidate that we have in attendance is Mr. John Edgar.
How great is this turnout? I am John Edgar. I've called Pikes Peak region home for about 20 years. My commitment to serving this district has been shaped by real life experiences, such as owning small businesses, raising a family here, and helping others through charity and volunteering. It was a job transfer that brought me here in 2003. I was supposed to be here about 3 weeks, and I never left. In 2010, while roaming the wholesome streets of New Orleans, I unexpectedly met my wife, Jennifer. In an effort to get her to move here after a few months of long-distance dating, it was met with hesitancy because she said Colorado Springs is too conservative. Undeterred by this obstacle, I relied on my problem-solving ability. Big problems need big solutions. So I bought a house in the more progressive haven of Manitou Springs, and she acquiesced to my persistent calls for her to move. In the face of a political landscape that seems broken and an economy that increasingly concentrates wealth, I run with a sense of urgency. Our democracy is at stake, and the American rags to riches opportunity feels threatened. The path we are on is not sustainable. Future generations deserve a better America than what they will inherit if we don't correct course now. While I stand here, it is not lost on me the immense honor it is to run alongside this diverse group of distinguished candidates. While we compete, we should all remember that we're comrades in a collective effort to flip Colorado's 5th district blue. Each of us would be a far better representative than the dangerous name that I suspect will emerge from the other side. We must never let running against each other turn into running over each other. And thank you.
It's talking about Dave Williams, in case anybody was wondering. I don't like that guy. While the CD5 candidates were speaking, Representative Regina English was able to join us. So I would invite her up for her 2-minute introductions. Representative English is representing House District 17 in the State House, and I will give the mic to you.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Well, I mean, I really don't have too much to say, but I definitely am running again to continue to build on the work that's being done. We certainly know that 2 years is a very short period of time to really make an impact on the things that we want to get done as a community and as a district. And I do want to say it truly is an honor to serve the people of the state of Colorado. Sorry I'm late, just got out of committee and had to fight Denver traffic. But we're in our SMART Act hearings, listening to the people of the state of Colorado ask for more money for things that they want to do. So this is definitely an important space that I move in, and I don't take this lightly. And I'm definitely grateful to have the opportunity to change the narratives that we want to change. That's quick. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, you all know me. Yes, Dr. Regina English. I represent House District 17, Southeast Colorado. And there's some big bills that I'm bringing forward that are going to be very contentious. But it's all good because I'm ready for a good fight. And so one of the bills I'm bringing is to ban the use of seclusion rooms across public schools. But he just held up 30 seconds. So I'm here if you all want to hear about the work I'm doing and the work that I'm going to continue to expand on doing. And again, thank you for believing and trusting in my leadership and giving me the space to lead for us. Thank you.
That was all the candidates that are in attendance tonight, and now we're going to move on to the last part of the more structured meet and greet here, and we'll probably do this by jurisdiction as well, and we'll start out with the county commission candidates. So if Dr. Duncan and Ms. Lopez want to start making their way up here, I can ask this question of like both of you right now. This question is not intended to be easy. Misha and I talked a lot about this one because there's a lot of very diverse interests within El Paso County and within a progressive community. So we were trying to address this. So it was not designed to be easy, but you'll have 1 minute to answer this question. Each candidate will have 1 minute. So how will your policy platform address the complex interplay of social issues such as racial and gender equality, economic disparity, healthcare accessibility, and environmental justice? And how do you intend to craft inclusive and equitable solutions for all of our communities?
You said it again.
How are you going to save the world in 1 minute? Right?
You want to read it again? Somebody asked me.
Go ahead.
For real.
Yeah.
How will your policy platform address the complex interplay of social issues such as racial and gender equality, economic disparity, healthcare accessibility, and environmental justice? And how do you intend to craft inclusive and equitable solutions for all our communities?
Thank you. I find pleasure in being the first candidate to answer this question. It's what I do. It's what I live every day. As a Latina working in the public education system, I have spent the past 4 years advocating for our students of color, our LGBTQ plus students and teachers to make sure that they have a safe and inclusive experience at school, that they are afforded the same opportunities as all of our students. I build my life around ensuring that all voices are heard. As a speech language pathologist, it's my job to be a communication specialist, and I listen to the experiences of every single person that I come in contact with. Their experiences are important to me. My experiences are not the same as yours, and your experiences are not the same as his. And it's important that we have a leader in, thank you, it's my time. I will ensure that I do this in County Commission. Thank you. Dr. Duncan?
That was a loaded question. So if I can remember all, but what I will say is, last night I had the opportunity to attend the Whitefield School District meeting, school board meeting, where I got to meet parents, students, educators, social workers who are very concerned about the culture that the students are having, leaders who are leading them who are out in public saying things that they shouldn't say, right? So we have to be really careful as leaders. We have to be examples. I plan on being that example. I want other young Black women young Black girls to say, I can do this. I can be in a position of power, and I can make decisions about where I live, and I can make decisions about the people in the community in which I live. And I can be at the table, not just at the table, but have a voice. We got to stop saying be at the table and no voice. I want to be at the table with a voice.
Here, let's move on to the House District 18 candidates again. Ms. Pascal and Mr. Dooley could come and join us.
Hey, everyone. Complex question, definitely. And I think it is crucial that anybody that is in leadership in our government, in our community, is looking at solutions for the folks that don't already have what they need. And I think that's absolutely critical. How do we do that? By making sure that we listen to people. We listen to people at different walks of life, different ages, different races. I don't know if I got to the point in my speech mentioning this, but my background is as a software engineer, and I like to fix things. And the way you fix things is looking at first principles, understanding what is happening, who is not getting what they need, and focusing on fixing that. I mean, we don't need to focus anymore on making sure that people who are wealthy have a tax cut. I mean, obviously, I think as Democrats, we all agree on that. So I think that is the important approach to take, to make sure that we are listening to all sectors of our society and we are crafting solutions that work for everybody.
Hello again. Well, back in 2010, we did Proposition C. And I lobbied very heavily to get that written and passed, which we did, which was a thing to do roads, schools, and healthcare. Unfortunately, they took most of the money to the roads and didn't do healthcare or the schools. What I see to be inclusive, we have to get the school systems funded. My wife is a teacher. She's a union teacher, which I'm very happy to say, in D11. That's the front line. We have to get the schools fixed. If we get the schools fixed, we get the teachers there, we get the programs, we'll start to fix the other problems. We need to address the homeless. That's a big issue, all you're seeing on the news. How do we be inclusive? We start at the bottom. We make sure we're working, take care of the homeless, get the schools fixed. That'll help with the inclusiveness. It's for everybody. We can't deny anybody. So that's very simple.
Let's move to House District 16 now. Representative Veal. No, it's okay. I actually think you're gonna like this. It's how will your policy platform address the complex interplay of social issues such as racial, gender equality, economic disparity. I know.
So actually, this is give you a really big example of one of the things that they're doing in the space. So how many of you, I took an Uber here. How many of you like ordered DoorDash, Instacart, took an Uber, did any of the gig app stuff? I think especially under a certain age where it's more popular. So that's actually a workforce that I have a direct experience in. To my knowledge, I am the first member of our legislature to have worked in the gig app economy myself. And so I've been doing a lot of work over last year and this year, developing the policy platform specifically for gig drivers, the customers they serve, the businesses they work with, so that big tech isn't just taking all of our money and depriving us of good services and ripping people off who work hard to make their companies profitable. So we've got a whole list of policy demands of them that we've made. And I think one of the reasons why that's so important is that so much of that workforce is an invisible BIPOC workforce. It's immigrant, it's Black workers, a lot of folks with disabilities are in that workforce. And so we need to bring both of those together in common cause. And that is one of my bills that does that.
Let's keep things going in the House districts with back to House District 15 with Jeff Livingston. How will your policy platform address the complex interplay of social issues such as racial and gender equality, economic disparity, healthcare accessibility, and environmental justice? And how do you intend to craft inclusive and equitable solutions for all communities?
Hello, everybody. I don't know if you guys were privy to the school district 3 issue with the board directors, members, and whatnot. Oh, up here. Thank you. Yeah, essentially that issue kind of played into a lot of the aspects of that question. Essentially what I want to make sure of is, well, okay, so I polled a lot of teachers during the past few months, during the board of directors and whatnot. Oh, sorry about that. Board of directors and whatnot. And a lot of what they said was they need better facilities for students that are ailing or that are less abled or that are minority groups and that kind of thing. That's the biggest part of the platform that I believe applies to this question, in that my want is to make sure that those tools are available to the teachers and that they are ready to take on the challenges that face this very diverse and unique community.
Representative English, you're the last of our House district candidates. So as a reminder, you're running for re-election in House District 17.
So yay, now I get to expand on the bill that I was talking about bringing forth. Inclusivity is key and it's very important. So the bill that I'm running to ban the use of seclusion rooms across the state of Colorado, we know that Black and brown kids and students with disabilities are the ones that are most impacted by this. So my policy platform is creating access, opportunity, treating all people with dignity and respect, and making sure the policies create a safe space for people to actually be who they are unapologetically. So all the policies that I'm running is very inclusive to people being treated, like I said, with dignity and respect in a humane way, regardless how they choose to show up or how they choose to identify. So thank you. I didn't get to sign. Okay.
Thank you. That was all of our House district candidates for this follow-up question. Let's shift over to CU Regent, and we'll hear from Charles Johnson, or CJ again. Right. And you're not going to have.
No, I really appreciate the question, and this has been fundamental to who I am and the work that I've done in and around the CU system over the course of the 35 years that I've been involved. But I'll take a slightly different take because I'm not a policymaker. I'm a recipient of good policy, as all of us are. But as a party, I would challenge all of us, and I certainly challenge myself, to make sure that there's that intersection between policy and people. I wonder why a party that is so right on policy, the opposition doesn't even offer. I mean, that's not even what they're all about. But yet people we're still in close races. And I wonder if the people that we're creating all this great policy to benefit actually believe us. Are we gaining or delivering the outcomes that we're promising? An election cycle over election cycle, that becomes a great question. When I was the Black Student Alliance president on CU's campus, as I mentioned earlier, we were having the same conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion in 1988 that we're having in 2024. And I'm wondering why, or we're wondering why people aren't hearing the message that we're delivering. I think there's something between that nexus, that intersection between policy and the people that we claim to represent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to get back into Congressional District 5, and we'll just go in the same order that we went in before. So Reverend Gasson, we'll get started in Congressional District 5 with you.
Since I had the advantage of hearing the question a little bit ahead of time because I was listening in, I went ahead and typed up something real fast, so we'll see how this goes. My time hasn't started yet, though. How does it? Cool. Influencing representatives requires communication, collaboration, and a willingness to understand diverse perspectives. We need politicians who show a genuine interest in representing voices outside of their demographic. Now, I know as a woman, there's some issues I feel like we need our voices heard. I know as a member of the LGBTQ+ community, I want representation that will protect us. Yet no candidate can be everything. And we need candidates willing to learn from everyone because we are ultimately the party that fights to represent everyone. And then just a list of some policies that could help bridge that gap of economic inequality. We need to make sure that our technology is regulated and that it is advancing in a way that makes sure everyone is included. So that way we aren't just increasing the economic divide as we start to advance and go into this quantum computing and AI era. And we also need to just put more money into education if we really just want to help with the inequality. Thank you.
All right, Joe Reagan.
Ask that question, and then never mind answer it.
Right.
Things are going. It's true. It's true. In one of my prior roles, I was the director of military and veteran outreach for a national nonprofit that supported veterans. And about maybe a year into that role, I was approached by the Military Women's Memorial in Washington, D.C. and the Buffalo Soldier Foundation out of Kansas, I think. And they asked me if I would help them recognize a group of veterans that played a very important role in World War II. And this was the 6th AAA Postal Battalion. And I assume no one's ever heard of them. 30 seconds, that wasn't you heard of it, okay. This was the only all-black, all-female unit to deploy in World War II. And over the course of the program to try and get these women awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, I had an opportunity to interact with some of them and their family members. And what they told me was pretty impressive when you think about patriotism. These women looked me in the face and they said, "We chose to serve at a time when our country didn't love us. And yet we wanted to show that country that we love them." And after World War II, I know. And after World War II, the military went back and found that when we build communities that are diverse, when we bring and build elements that reflect the diversity of the community, they are more effective. And so across the policy community, that's what we need to be looking at, is when we bring diversity together, we are actually creating value for those communities. And that's what I want to bring to Washington. So thank you. And sorry.
All right, so I've got Orlondo Avion. They told me all O's.
Orlondo Avion. Yes. All right, great question. I think this was perfect for me. So, like I was saying before, and I did forget something, spoiler vote. So that's another thing that ranked choice voting, multi-member districts, and proportional voting power takes care of, okay? So, we've got to get into the 21st century. This idea of gerrymandering where we're drawing lines on maps in order to, get these people not to vote or get these people to vote, that could be a thing of the past. Ranked choice voting, that's exactly what you're talking about. Being able to get everybody involved in the process and being represented, true representation. Where you have winner takes all, that means that 50% sometimes of the population within a district doesn't get represented at all. And that's what I'm trying to do with all of these solutions that I want to put into place, is be able to get people representation. Thank you. I'd love to talk to you more about this afterwards. Bye.
And our last one, Mr. John Edgar.
Yeah, appreciate the question. I think a lot of these issues can be solved with proper education in every district, every neighborhood, every state in our country. My son is in first grade at a Title I school. His school has the highest percentage of minorities of any school in his district. And I think that is what we love the most about it, is he gets to see different backgrounds, different experiences, different income levels. We love it so, but we love it. Unfortunately, it's kind of predictable, and it shouldn't be predictable. It's the lowest rated school in the district. So in an effort to help that, my wife took a job there this year. I volunteer 2 to 4 days a week. We'll do our part to not let any kid in that school fail. We'll volunteer this year, we'll volunteer next year, and he's not going to another school. I don't want him to go to school with a bunch of kids that look just like him. I think we deal with a lot of equality by educating people. Power is knowledge, and people who have knowledge can stand up for themselves and advocate. Thank you.
Also alive, it wasn't the last one. Adam Gillard.
Sorry about that. Easy to forget. All right. So with that question, this is why I think it's important for us to know where people stand at the beginning. When I say I'm a progressive, it's because I believe in universal health care. I believe in 100% renewables. And I believe that DEI isn't just a political platform, it's a lifestyle. When I was serving during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I saw how people were abused for their production and thrown away for people that they love. Like, I had to protect my friends from getting kicked out because of these policies. During the protests in 2020, I had an airman that was protesting up in Denver, and he wanted to do more. So we got UCCS to come in and give us diversity training. This was after Trump said there will be no diversity training, but I still fought and I got that money and we provided it to our folks. DEI is a lifestyle, folks, and that's how I live. Thank you.
And that was the last one. Having ran for House District 14 myself, I know that it's not easy to put yourself out there in this way, but I know that all of us appreciate what each and every one of these candidates is doing. So let's give our amazing Democrat candidates a round of applause. I am personally grateful to every candidate that is willing to step up and to lead, and for all of you making some time on a Friday evening to come and participate in this critical democratic exercise. And the conversations, they don't end here. So I want you to carry this torch of engagement, and we'll hold these candidates accountable at the polls. Good night, and let's keep the fire of activism burning, and let's advance united. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.